Iconic paintings by some of the most famous modern European artists, including Claude Monet, Vincent van Gogh, Pablo Picasso. They'll all be showcased in a new exhibition at the Milwaukee Art Museum. And Tanya Paul is curator of European art, and she joins us now to talk a little bit about this. Tanya, thanks so much. This is a really exciting exhibition. Yeah. Is this one of these things that's been traveling the world over?
It has traveled a little bit. It came to us actually from most recently the High Museum in Atlanta, but it's been in Texas, it's been in Japan, but we're really delighted to have it here in Milwaukee. So it's a very special.
So even people who don't know a lot about art can recognize some of the names that I just mentioned.
Oh, for sure.
Are there specific works in this exhibition that people will know or will come to see?
Well, the wonderful thing about the Phillips collection in this exhibition is that you'll not only see sort of one work by Paul Cézanne, but there's actually three, and there's four works by Georges Braque and two by Edgar Degas. So there are these wonderful sort of concentrations of works and two beautiful paintings by Kandinsky. So I think for people will really get a chance to kind of study the work of a single artist in greater depth. So that's kind of part of Phillips, Duncan Phillips, the original founder of the museum, that was part of his collecting philosophy. So
it must be wonderful for you to be able to use some of these names to bring people in, because you know, a lot of folks are probably not on the higher echelon of understanding art and things like that. They would admit that, but when you have names that they recognize, they'll come see you.
For sure, yeah, and I think that's the sort of beauty of this exhibition. I think there are absolutely names that people will recognize, but I think the beauty of this exhibition is that there's a wonderful story behind it as well. There's a very human story behind it, and I think that helps give people a way in, you know, and it makes it more sort of human for them.
Is there a learning opportunity then for people? I mean, some folks are just going to come. They just want to look at the paintings.
And
right?
we love that.
Right.
Happy to have that.
And others are going to want to learn a little bit more about them. So talk to me about that process when you're a visitor to the museum.
Yeah. So I mean, we've done a lot of work to really make the exhibition sort of a larger story. So when you come in, you're gonna encounter a timeline that sort of takes you through the story of the formation of the collection, and then when you walk through the exhibition, it's going to take you from the earliest work all the way through the most recently created work. So there's a wonderful kind of progression forward in time. And every gallery has information on each individual work, as well as kind of an overview text that kind of tells you about that work. And then of course we have gallery talks throughout the exhibition and lectures and so on. So there's lots of opportunities for learning.
We must be very fortunate to have an exhibition like this. What kind of challenge is it for you all to bring these wonderful things to us?
It's more of a delight than a challenge, I would say.
Sure.
It's great to have it, and it was just such a pleasure to work with the Phillips collection. It's such an important institution, and yet I think it's a museum that not as many people know because it's a little bit smaller, but I mean, it was the very first museum of modern art in the United States. It opened 8 years before MoMA did. So, I mean, it has a really important place in history.
Well, I hope we get a lot of people out there to see you and visit you. Thanks so much for sharing it with us today.